Hello, everyone. So I saw there was an interesting headline that was put out. I decided to go and even check the originality of the message. You know, sometimes newspapers, they put these fancy headlines, clickbait, that when you go in, the message is not what it is. But hey, this is what Bayo Onanuga had to say. He said, Sheun, today on Politics Today, I called on all Nigerians to put aside political, ethnic, and religious differences and stand united against the common enemy threatening our collective future. The thing I want to let Bayo Onanuga know is that the number one enemy that Nigeria has today is Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the former governor of Lagos State. This is what is always being done. You guys sit down and gaslight citizens who are victims of the failure of their lives to be protected. Nobody asked Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu to go and rig election. He decided to rig election in his own. He decided he wanted to be sworn in. He decided he wanted to take on the role of commander-in-chief. And then he comes down here and then begins to ignore people. People are being killed, nothing. People are being abducted. People are being, dehumanized all over the place. Not a word. He went the other day, there were Elise helicopters or whatever flying, and they had this picture in a region where primary school children had been taken away and they are in captivity. Where a math teacher has been decapitated, well, that doesn't really mean anything to them. Because I remember in 2018, Sefura, Boko Haram had sent warning to Nigerian government. Then Buhari was president. Tinubu, of course, was leader of APC. And for them, they saw nothing in it until she was killed. They threatened, they tied her, they shot and they killed her. They did all manner of things to her. And they've killed many other people. They've never bothered. So he has never bothered. And then you come in here to come and gaslight. Oh, people should stand united as in what? Stand as in what? Have people not been shouting out? The person that is supposed to take charge, for whom the buck stops at the table, is nowhere to be found. Refuses to do anything. Continue to insult the sensibility of Nigeria. Continue to drag the pain that the families of the victims, of the abductees are going through. You carry rice and indomie and whatever to go and give people who are grieving their children that have been taken away, and you don't think you're the problem. The number one enemy that Nigeria has is actually Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nobody else. And so sitting down here beginning to tell people whatever, he was responding to a message that Shehu had said. For me, even this message, it's wrong. We should stop gaslighting citizens. This is not about citizens' failure. Citizens have been crying. They've been crying now. They've been crying. This is about failure of governance, failure of people who have hijacked the system, who are sitting down there, who say they are the ones that have to be in charge and doing nothing. When Jonathan was in office, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was calling out Jonathan and telling us that the buck stops at the table of Jonathan. And then today, you're calling on citizens to have understanding, to unite, to do what? The business of fighting terrorism, fighting insecurity has nothing to do with being united or not being united. It first of all has to do with the political will to stop it. Terrorists go on social media, they insult everybody, they threaten everybody, they share their money, they do all manner of things. Yet, the so-called government that can use what you call the security agents to go after anyone that says anything that they don't like about them, they are suddenly nowhere to be found. All of a sudden, you cannot find terrorists that are threatening people, but you can find someone that criticizes or says something on the other. You can find them where they are and take them and lock them up. The other day, Justice Crack, they went after Justice Crack. They took him because they brought out a video. He brought out a video on the plight of the ministry. If Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not the number one enemy of Nigerians, it is that there are people who will be looking for that young man to say, come and sit down. Young man, come and sit down at the table. What is this I'm hearing about this? Soldiers are going through this so much, and their action will be taken about it. But what did they do? They ended up dehumanizing Justice Crack, doing everything to break him. The young man refused to be broken. And you're sitting down here, you're gaslighting people and telling them how, as if it is the people's fault that the terrorists are doing what they're doing. No, it's not the people's fault. It's the person who is the number one enemy of Nigeria, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that has sat down there watching people being killed. Of course, what am I even saying? Who rigs election to protect anybody? Who rigs election to give good governance? Who rigs election to do the right thing? Definitely not. You won't go through rigging if you know you're going to do the right thing, because the right thing, doing the right thing involves responsibility. It involves putting in the work, not those that are coming in to enjoy the perks of office, for them to say they are the ones that can control the coffers of the nation, control whatever decision it is that they want to make. Shehu said, enough is enough. The killings, abduction of innocent Nigerians, and the unleashing of terror on our people cannot continue. These senseless killings and heinous crimes must stop. Totally agree with him. Terror does not ask for your tribe, faith, religion, or political affiliation before it strikes. Our response must be stronger than our division. I don't agree with that. This is not nothing to do with our response. This is the response of Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is sitting down in that office that is supposed to be meant for the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, who hasn't done the things that he's supposed to do, for whom the buck stops at his table and has not been able to do anything. And Bayo Onanuga is running up and down, running his mouth up and down, issues that don't concern him when people are not protected. Which one are you coming to gaslight citizens? Whether citizens are united or not, that is none of your business. Your business is to ensure that the security of citizens is guaranteed, that the welfare of citizens is guaranteed. And any government that cannot secure the lives and properties of its citizens is not fit to be called the government. That's where we should focus on. That's where the real issue should be on. Not you coming to tell us that you should unite, affiliate. No, I don't agree with that. Today on Politics Today, I called on all Nigerians to put aside political, ethnic, and religious differences and stand united against the common enemy threatening our collective future. This is not about citizens, my brother Shehu. This is not about citizens. This is about people who are occupying that office and doing nothing. This is about people who are supposed to protect lives of the people and are not protecting the lives of the people. If we write statements like this, we are making it sound as if it is the citizens' fault that they are being attacked. It is the citizens' fault that they are being killed. No, it's not the citizens' fault. It's the fault of those who are sitting in places that they are not supposed to sit in. When they knew they were not going to do anything, they know they're not going to, and they do not even have anything to be able to do anything at the end of the day. Criticize what must be criticized, he said. Demand accountability where it is due. But above all, let us be together. We are missing the point. This is about someone who is sitting on a seat he shouldn't have been sitting on. A seat that the boss is supposed to stop at that table. A president and a commander-in-chief. That's where the box of securing the lives of Nigeria is on. It doesn't matter whether Nigerians banter each other, they do each other. That does not matter. What matters is that there is someone who is occupying an office and failing Nigerians. And that person is Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the former governor of Lagos State.